Welcome to the Third Thursday podcast, where we hope to connect, encourage, and equip student ministry leaders of today. Hosted by Ben McEntee, this podcast is brought to you by the Rocky Mountain District of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. You can listen to us on all major podcast platforms, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to help others be connected, encouraged, and equipped to reach students with the gospel. Now let's dive in. Here's your host, Ben.
Dashing through the snow in one horse open sleigh, all the fields we go, laughing all the way, ha, ha, ha. Oh, hello. Hello, welcome to the Third Thursday podcast. Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget to put your booties on, because it's cold outside. It's cold outside every day, because we're getting so close to Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays, that are wrapped up in that fourth quarter of the year. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm talking to you, youth workers, youth pastors, and folks that just love serving young people. And we get to bundle up together and share the love of Jesus. It is awesome. I am your host, Ben McEntee, and I'm here with my co-host, the Yukon Cornelius to my abominable snowman, your friend and mine, Chris Tweedy of the RMD of the C&MA. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Ben. How's it going?
It's great. I'm doing well. Now, Chris, today we're gonna bundle up, right? And we're gonna pour ourselves a nice hot cup of hot cocoa or some hot apple cider and just sit here by the fire. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a roaring fire. Just picture it as a roaring fire. It's not really a fire. And we're going to talk holiday ministry ideas. The leaves are turning color and Thanksgiving's coming up. It's very, very cool. And then Christmas is right around the bend. You know what I'm talking about. And we get to talk about these things today. We wanted to give you some December, November, Christmas, Thanksgiving options before you have to make all those decisions here. And we're thinking about just like Christmas cheer, Yuletide cheer, and Thanksgiving gratitude and gratefulness. So let's do that. But before we do that, can we do? I got a question for you, Chris. Just to prepare us for this season. When do you start playing Christmas music in your house?
When do we start in the house, or when do I authorize and will accept it without anger?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, when do you think it should be done? When should it be done?
It's got like post Thanksgiving for sure.
Right.
My wife is like as soon as Halloween's done, although she does kind of sneak in the corner like an addict and play some in her AirPods in October. I'm pretty sure. Like she's
really?
Smuggling.
Wow.
Yeah, she's all Christmas all the time. It starts early for her. But yeah, like after Thanksgiving, I can make the shift a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, for us, it's the same thing. I say after Thanksgiving, and then, but my wife Danielle says after Halloween, and we have been playing Christmas music, and I do enjoy Christmas music after Halloween in preparation. Now, how many Christmas trees do you get in your house?
We are a one tree family until our daughters, who are our two middle kids, they started wanting trees in their room. So we usually go out and cut our own Christmas tree in the forest. Right. And so they wanted, actually, Gabby, and she's out of the house now in college, but so Lucy's still at the house. She likes to do a tree. So we have two. So we have a family tree, and then Lucy has a tree.
Yeah, we have two. I think if my wife had her way, there'd be a tree in every room. But I do say no. But one day I know when the children are out of the house, I'm going to be inundated with just pine needles just throughout my entire house. And
you guys are you guys real tree or
real tree? Yes,
okay.
I am a real tree, not fake tree. We do go and cut our tree, and it is enjoyable.
If you are not a real tree person, Ben and I want you to know that we are praying diligently for you, and someday you'll see the light. No, I'm just kidding. I know there's allergies and stuff, but
no, it is. Yeah, I mean, fake trees. If you want it, that's fine. That's fine. But we will be praying for you. It's true. It's true. Good. Well, fun. Hey, today let's have a conversation about holiday ministry ideas. It's late November. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Christmas is coming up. So with that on everyone's mind, let's just talk about what are things we can do in youth ministry to capitalize on life and rhythms and cycles that families are going into, and for the church to take notice of. So first off, like teaching, right? I mean, this is a great time. I'll tell you, I love Advent. It's about 4 weeks of curriculum or lessons about preparing for the coming of Christmas Day, and Advent is excellent. I love it. That's something that our church takes part of as a body. We have Advent candle lightings in December as a church family, and then we can do Advent lessons on our midweeks, and that's good stuff. Do you guys do something like that at your church, Chris?
Yeah. It's interesting in working with different pastors around our region. One of the things I hear this time of year is like, man, it is so hard to like come to Christmas again. And you feel like you're doing the same messages and all that. And, one of the things that I respond to with that is like, look, this is actually catechism. It's a catechism that we can't get bored with, and not that we're bored with it, that's probably the wrong word, but just sometimes it feels like, man, should we try something fresh? But there actually is something really good about these rhythms that, no, we're going to hit these things, these 4 themes, and then the Christ candle, like we're going to hit, so like Advent's one of those things that I think it doesn't need to be like crazy fresh every year and you find some take on joy and love and peace that no one's ever heard of before. But there's something to that rhythm that I think is like, no, these are really important and we want to remember them. And so we're going to do that. So yeah, we've got Advent stuff. The last number of years, we've done some Advent stuff as a family.
Yes.
Where, just in our family devotional time, but yeah, in the youth ministry, and obviously our church goes through kind of an Advent series every fall, so or every December. So,
Chris, I think that's a really great point. I mean, I remember I had a boss many years ago, senior pastor, and he said, "Oh, I'm so bored of Christmas messages," and I felt sad for him. And I understand that there is that it is repetitive, say, in nature or whatever, but I think that rhythm, that the catechism of the thing, and we're pointing people to Christ. It really is. It's the gospel.
Well, and that's the thing is really, if there's a sense of, and boredom's probably too strong of a word, but there's a sense, I think, as a pastor sometimes or as a youth worker of like, I've got to make this exciting because, it's kind of the same theme as last year. But I think what it really should do, rather than like cause us to try to be some new ingenuity, it really should press us ourselves deeper into, man, do I think about, joy enough? And have I really let this seep into my own soul? Because when it does, there's an excitement that kind of comes. So I think there's almost that should produce in us like, hey, there's something a little bit maybe hard and cold in my heart, rather than trying to make it all fancy. Like maybe I actually just need to spend some time meditating on these things myself. But
I think that's good point. And I know I need that sometimes as I come into the Christmas season, just to remember, like, what is the focus? That's so good. So I do love Advent. Here's one thing for youth workers to think about is to give families a resource to do Advent at home. Chris, you mentioned about doing Advent in your cycles, and I think that's really, really good stuff. We do that as well, and that's something that is really, really cool. Something that you can look at are there are online, you can find these devotional guides for Advent. You can find devotional guides for Thanksgiving. Chris, you mentioned YouVersion has some things, but I mean, there's so many options. I know Access, which we give access to, which is free, and we encourage RMD folks to take part in. There's that. Download Youth Ministry always has stuff. I mean, find it. It's available out there for you. But devotional guides for families, I'll print out a stack and just put it out on a Sunday morning, or have them out for youth work, for youth on a Wednesday night. Just go take it home and start your own tradition.
Yeah. I would say, just lastly on this before we move on, that if your youth ministry doesn't have a regular sort of weekly, daily rhythm of encouraging students to be in the Word in a certain, kind of pattern collectively, this can be a really good season to start something, because you've got Advent, or there's all kinds of like gratitude, type devotionals and things. And sometimes this is a good time to start a new habit. So that can carry on throughout the year of like, hey, we're going to keep reading stuff together as a youth group.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Here's another thing. Just having some like fun. Fun
yeah,
is good. Um, we can have fun. Fun is, I mean, God invented fun. It's laughter and enjoyment, that those are all his ideas. So these are good things. We always have end of the year Christmas party as a youth group, where we come together, have Christmas themed games, and my group, we always end the year by singing our world famous singing of the 12 Days of Christmas, which is riotous. And you have to do 5 golden rings. And I mean, when you do 5 golden rings, it is the loudest, most obnoxious thing you've ever heard, and incredible. And then you roll through it, and everyone's exhausted by the end. And some people are saying, please stop, but you do it anyway. So, Christmas, a party like potlucks, we do potluck style things. We just do games, and it's just a way to get everyone together and say, hey, Christmas break is coming up. Family time is opening up. There's good stuff. We're getting prepared for that, and how can we focus people on that and have an enjoyable time. Also, our church does GVC Thanksgiving, which our senior pastor takes part. He and his family just invite anyone who doesn't have a spot to go for Thanksgiving, come into the church from noon to 5. They do potluck style. They watch football games and just hang out, and it's light, it's relaxed, it's very informal, but good food and a good time for people to get to know each other. And that's a great resource for the community, especially those who don't have a place to go.
yeah. This is we just as a spoiler, like we've got these 4 kind of sections to talk about holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving ministry, and so yeah, fun is this. Probably the first thing you often think of is like, oh yeah, what kind of fun things are we going to do? There's so much stuff available online. We have and we might link it in the show notes, but there's like fun Christmas trivia that can kind of be teaching in its own right. Like, these questions that we think we all know the answer to. And, just, there are so many. Yeah. And I would say even things that you might at first think like, oh, they won't be interested in that. You'd be surprised what this time of year, because it's such a festive feeling time of year for most of us, it's a real opportunity to leverage that. Not every year, not every season of the year has this kind of energy. And so, yeah, if you're doing youth ministry, plan something that is just fun and take advantage of snow or Christmas themed things, and just do something super fun with your students.
Yeah. Love it. We do broom ball. We have a family in our church
Mm-hmm.
who will actually has a pond. We've had other people just ice some grass over, and broom ball, super awesome. Love that. Where we roll out just fire pits, and we do s'mores and warm drinks, and just get together, and we do that throughout the winter. We do one for just kids. We do one for families. We do one for men's group, and one for youth. And what are those things? I mean, sledding. Hey, we're gonna go to the hill in town and just take part. And those are awesome times, especially during when there's a break, when kids are out of
Right.
school, when students are out of school. What are you gonna do? That's really an awesome opportunity to do some real impromptu or special events that you can just roll into, that I absolutely love. Does your city have like a holiday light stroll where I've done that a lot? Just do it with families or with your youth. Say, hey, we're going to meet at the start of the walking trail around in this neighborhood at this time. We're going to gather together and we're going to walk through. And it's a really great great things. So lots of fun ideas. Tap into what your community is already doing. What does your city have? And then say, hey, we can partner with that. Just go and show up.
Lots of holiday parades this time of year. You can just go and attend and just have a blast hanging out with students. Yeah.
Exactly. Love it. Love it. Love it. Another thing to think about is service projects or mission opportunities during this time for youth. I think that's really, really good stuff. For me, we do a missions trip during our spring break, which is in March, and our missions team is formalized and created by the time Christmas is rolling around. And we always do a Christmas bake sale for our missions trip. It's a fundraiser. And so 2 weeks before Christmas, we ask people to come in and donate goodies, because everyone's going to Christmas parties, or many people are going to Christmas parties, and we sell those. And then we take the proceeds of that, and that helps our missions team for either youth missions or intergenerational missions trips. That's a really, really awesome a simple thing that you can do that people can take part in. But what are some like service things or mission-minded, focused things that you've seen in the past, Chris?
Yeah, one of the things, and just hitting some Thanksgiving stuff, maybe before some Christmas ideas.
Yeah.
Food banks usually get tons and tons of food this time of year, and so sometimes they need help sorting things out or cleaning things out in preparation for that. We've seen families like maybe like a youth group, maybe adopting a family or two, and just say, hey, we're just going to bless you with like just a bunch of food before Thanksgiving. So those are, and you can take students out shopping, go shopping as a group, and do, some fun things like that. Something too that I think is kind of a neat idea that I heard about was taking some student or some time, like in a youth group setting night, to write thank yous. This is kind of, Thanksgiving related, but
love it.
Thank you cards and notes to the pastors, if you have multiple pastors, the church, some of the church leaders, their parents, maybe some of the older saints that have, really laid the foundation for where these students are at, just a time to kind of reflect and be like, hey, we're going to actually verbalize some of this stuff. And, so those are, kind of fun things. I think another thing, we've talked about this a couple times, Ben, about how important you and I think it is for the high school students to have connections with the student ministry, like the KidMin, elementary ages. And, we're big proponents of like, hey, if you're in high school ministry, you should, try to find a time to volunteer and serve, like if your church does children's church or something like that. But this would be, like I've seen the idea of like, hey, we're going to adopt a KidMin student. And so like all the youth groups like do like a secret Santa with one of the kids. And then you might have some joint event where, you kind of bring them together and they get, their gift. And, there's just a time to kind of hang out and have food. That sounds kind of like a party, but there's this real like ministry service aspect of that's super encouraging for the kids.
I love it. I love it. I love that idea. Solid. Good stuff. Yeah, I love the card writing, gift giving, these tangible things. Super, super good. Also just like looking out, what are the needs in the community? Are there families that you have in need of? I don't know if I ever shared this. I probably have, but when I was a kid, my mom, who was very amazing, she would do, it was called M&M's. It was called the Mission of Mercy. And so she knew people who needed things. And it was basically a riff off of the doorbell ditch. We would bring in gifts or food or diapers if there was a new baby, and we'd go and we would drop it on the porch, ring the doorbell, and run. And something like that for a youth group to go like, okay, we got 5 families, we know, let's get this together. I think we would always try to be anonymous in that, but I think for the youth group, just like go like have a little sign, hey, from our youth group name, we love you, write a little note on that, but just leave it there, and they'll just get there and they find it, and they're just, oh, this is incredible, to let them know that they're being thought of and cared for and provided for. Those are really, really cool opportunities.
Also thinking about the older people in your community or your church, So there's things that are fun and just encouraging, like, we've done caroling at care facilities and things like that. That seems, believe it or not, students really get into that. Like like after the first song, if you hit like 5 facilities or something, after the first one, they're like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. But it's such an encouragement to those people that a lot of them don't have families around that they see all the time.
Yes.
The other thing is finding, and this one's like more of like, hey, you might lean into this for a season. But, the other is like, hey, are there folks in our church that are having trouble with leaves or snow removal that like we can, this isn't a one and done, like, hey, we're going to commit to this widow or to this widower, and we're really going to just serve them over the winter. This is a good time to start thinking about that. And so that's another kind of service idea that's really fun to do.
So good. Love it. Love it. I mean, these just ministry ideas to buy students for other people or for families, right? Really, really good stuff. I mean, and this is something we discuss. Events are good and having time is awesome. And there are going to be some students in your youth ministry who absolutely need things during the holiday time. There are students who are dealing with difficult family situations, divorce, just difficult family dynamics, and so I think having a break from ministry is important for your students who are fortunate and blessed to have families where they're going to be engaged and enjoy time together, but also being mindful of those students who can, in just a 3-week period of time during the holidays, can really fall through the cracks and be lost. So events are good, but making time for family time is important. But as you do that, who those students are who really need care during this time. Maybe there's a loss of a loved one, or a difficult family situation. What are you going to do? Like, take them out before Thanksgiving, or take them out before Christmas. Say, hey, I'm praying for you. How can I pray for you? What do you need? What does what does Thanksgiving look like? What does Christmas look like? And just listen. Listen to them. They're not a project to be solved. They're just hear them out, and then through their conversations, you're going to get some insight into how you could serve them during that time. And we can give you a laundry list of ideas, but that student is going to communicate to you exactly what they need, and then you can then fill that need, and just be mindful of those things.
Yeah, we told you that we're going to hit these 4 areas. And so we talked about teaching opportunities, and then we talked about fun and service. And this really is, Ben and I had this in our notes as like ministry to students, like not teaching is a ministry to students, but this is like to their souls, to their lives. And I think it's a great word, Ben, that it's easy if you have a pretty stable family. And I honestly, no one's perfect, but most people who are serving in youth ministry are fairly stable, mature Christians wanting to, that's fairly normal. I know everyone's got issues, but sometimes it's easy to project our stability and like, man, the holidays are so much fun and all this stuff is going on. I'm sure everyone's doing all this family stuff. And the reality is like, not everyone is. And so it is, I think what you said, Ben, is key. Knowing your students and just being really aware of how they're approaching this year. The student that has a super stable Christian home is like, they have all this stuff going on and all these great traditions and great, wonderful family time. And then there's a student whose parents just split up in November. And this is like first Thanksgiving at 2 homes, which is weird. Or this is, we had the loss of a loved one, and this is the first Christmas without grandpa or without, a sibling or something. This is that, a lot of these holiday times, they're always bittersweet. You'll hear people talk about this, like with Mother's Day, right? There's the celebration of moms and being a mom. And then there's the pain of the woman who wants to be a mom and can't, or the person who just lost their mom. And so a lot of these holiday times have these bittersweet interactions. And it doesn't mean that you just minister only to the hurting, and you just sort of bring, the joy meter down and like, okay, we're just gonna. But it also means that, hey, in your joy and all that, like, be aware of this. And I think one of the things you and I talked about offline, Ben, that I thought was so good that you mentioned was, the importance of being able to, maybe there's not a lot of programmatic things that you're going to be doing, but just the awareness, especially if you have, most of our youth groups, most of you guys listening to this have people that help you in youth ministry. And so among your leadership team being like, hey, these are the students that are struggling. If you're doing stuff with your family that's fun, like hey, we're going to go get hot chocolate and go look at Christmas lights, like bring some of those students with you. Like sometimes just having them around, maybe it's not super programmed, but just being aware that there are some hurting folks around us, or maybe having the entire family over to do things with you. And so you're right. There's a laundry list of ways this looks, and we're not trying to prescribe that. I think what we're wanting to just say in this section is be aware that there's this spectrum of like really healthy, super fun, excited, and then sometimes there's a spectrum of pain. And as a youth minister, just don't superimpose your spectrum. And I would say that the opposite. Maybe you're having a really difficult year, right, and you're not feeling like celebrating, and but don't let really try to not let that color your youth ministry in this season, because we don't want to do that either. So
yeah, that's good. I think as we're talking about just being with young people, whether family time is good or family time is difficult, I think we can get lost in the weeds. Like, I have to do something, or I need, but it's really in the mundane, ordinary life moments where you will impact a student during the holidays, during Christmas, during Thanksgiving. Simple little things that you could do, and you would think this is nothing. Right. It's not even a big deal, but to them, it is a big deal. I find that the biggest spiritual insight that or ministry that I can do to anyone has always been things where I go, I didn't even think I did anything.
Yeah, right.
But God is moving, and people come back and say, hey, that was really meaningful, or you said this. And I go, I don't even remember.
Right. Right.
And those are the times. So get into the regular, simple things and allow that. And I think inviting people in, right? I mean, we talked about, would you invite people over for Christmas Day? That's a hard sell, right? I don't see that happening. But around that time, there are things where we do. As a family, we're going to go ice skating a few days after Christmas. Is that something where you could invite some young people in? I think so. Things like that, just opening up the door and making sure that your students aren't lost during a time when that can be very, very difficult for them. So that's really, really, really good.
Yeah,
I love it.
We had talked in the last 2 episodes about discipleship, and one of the things that came up, I think in both of those, was just the admonition to pray for your students. And that bleeds into this, because as you're praying and really knowing and thinking about your students, the Lord will give you wisdom in how to navigate this. And so, this is a common theme in youth ministry, is to really know your students, be praying for them, and have them in because this is all different. You may have a youth group that is of a certain, they're all different. And so you have to tailor that. But the big thing is, this is an opportunity for real ministry. And, but you're only going to really capitalize on it by knowing your students and sort of knowing how to work that out. So hopefully that's a bit of an encouragement, or maybe just a reminder, even just to, hey, don't just run your stuff and sort of, everyone's going to be fine, but be thinking about it. And then, the mundane things. We've had that too, Ben. In fact, just actually a couple of months ago, we ran into someone we hadn't seen in a long time that was part of a discipleship group. And she made a comment to my wife about how significant that time was. I remember when Candy told me that, I was just like, really? Like, it just didn't seem like that big of a deal. It wasn't very long. Anyway. So you just never know what the Lord's doing through presence.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Well, I love it. Hey, think about what are your Thanksgiving, what are your Christmas, what are your New Year's plans? What are you doing in ministry? Where's your teaching going to be going? What kind of fun activities, just engagement that you can have? What are service elements and mission-minded, focused things that you can do? And then how are you going to serve students and families in this time. Good stuff. So hey, we're with that, we've got 3 questions we always ask. How does this affect you and your leaders? How does this affect your students? And how is God being honored through it all? So when it comes to the holidays, we know that there's ways you can serve your leaders and be served yourself. Make sure that you're caring for yourself, and then looking out to how you can serve students, and then honoring the Lord through it all. So with that, here we're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're excited for it. We pray that will be a time of thankfulness and gratefulness, and be on the lookout for those students who need care in this holiday time. Chris, this has been an awesome episode. I'm ready for the holidays, and thanks for mixing it up with me today. It's been fun.
Yeah. They're gonna Thanksgiving's late this year, so man, it just feels like it's coming so fast. But like it is just all compressed when you have a late Thanksgiving. So yeah, I hope you guys all out there have a awesome time with your students, and this is a time of great joy and great ministry, and just even new students being able to connect in this. So yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving season. Not holiday in the broad sense. We were talking about this. Like, did we name this holiday episode? But we do, because it's Thanksgiving and Christmas, but only those 2.
We got it. Well, hey, thanks for listening. Check out our show notes for additional resources, and share at will. Share away. And with that, this is goodbye from everyone at the Third Thursday Podcast. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us on the Third Thursday Podcast. We hope you're leaving feeling connected, encouraged, and better equipped to reach students with the gospel. For more resources, head to rmdcma.com/youth. If this episode was helpful, share it with a friend, and we'll see you next time.